Welcome to POL Classics. Be sure to check out the best of POL from over the years. It's at its most popular day and time, and guess what? It's only on WNEP+.
WNEP proudly presents the premier outdoor show in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, your window to the great outdoors. Tonight on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life.
We'll take you to a trout hatchery for some answers about this year's stocking program. And we'll get hooked on some interesting new products at the Eastern Sports Show.
This week's show is ready to roll. Pennsylvania Outdoor Life starts right now.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. I'm Don Jacobs. Looking at the calendar here, second weekend of March, and as I make my way over to co-host Ken Hunter, we're going to apologize for the last 2 weeks. We haven't been on because somebody's been trying to hit a little white ball into a cup.
Boy, for me, Jake, that's about as exciting as watching grass grow.
Me too, but I got golf for friends, so I didn't say that. He said that.
I said it. I'll admit.
Right now, the white trucks, the fleet, it's out there, it's stocking trout. Is the state ready for it?
Fish Commission is ready. They've been ready. They've been on the road. In fact, I saw 2 trucks on the way over today already out stocking. I had a chance to visit a trout hatchery just before this, and it was very interesting to find out what's happening pre-season. Let's take a look.
This over here, this is one of our production ponds. Effluent is starting to be a big issue with our hatcheries in the state. And putting in these baffles is one of the steps we've taken to improve that. The baffles are spaced 10 feet apart. They got about a 5-inch space between the aluminum and the bottom, and it moves the waste from the upper end of the pond to the settling area at the bottom much faster, instead of leaving the waste from the fish in there and really breaking up into smaller particles. These fish are production fish each year. We like to put a fish out there that's 10 to 12 inches long, so they run close to half a pound apiece.
That's going to be about the average.
That'll be about the average statewide. Some a little larger, a few a little smaller, but that's our target. We got fry over in the ponds next to us. They're about 3 months old, and next year, March 1st, they'll be 10 to 12 inches long. Let's take a walk over there and I'll show them to you. On this size of trout here, it's really hard to tell the difference between a brown rainbow and a brook trout. Usually when they get about 3 inches long is when they start to get the markings that you can actually look at it and say, yeah, this is a brook, this is a brown. But this size here, they really don't have the markings. I can tell you that this pond here is brown trout, and in this one pond, which is 100 foot long, there's about 80,000 of these in there.
Now these fish will be stocked next year at this time.
Next year, March 1st, these will be going out. Some of these will go this summer in our put, grow, and take program. We have streams and lakes throughout the state where we do fingerling stocking and let the fish grow on their own in there. Now, some of these fish will go to that program.
I see the netting covering everything. Obviously, it's probably for birds. I assume to keep birds
It's definitely for birds. Back in the 80s, we started getting invaded with a herring called a black crown herring.
Yeah.
And they would come in here by the hundreds.
Just sit here and pick them up.
Sit here and pick them up. They're not satisfied with eating 1 or 2. They would stay and eat all night, regurgitate back out onto the macadam and keep on eating. So most of our hatcheries in the state, we had to go to this. It was a waste of fishermen's dollars.
But you have to do it.
Well, we have to do it, but then again, it costs us money to do this, but to lose 500,000 fish a year, that's a lot of money going This is where it begins. Starting in August, we start our spawning season, and that's where we go out in the ponds to our brood ponds. And we'll start out with rainbow, start spawning first, normally towards the middle, end of August. And then it's our brown trout like October and November. But we'll go outside and take the eggs outside. And when we do that, we'll use 5 or 6 females, fertilize the eggs with 1 or 2 males, bring them in here to our incubators. Normally, a 2-year-old female will give us somewhere around 1,800 eggs. The 3-year-olds, we're getting up there at about 2,500 to 3,000 eggs per female. Every one of these in here now is filled with brown trout. Approximately 35,000 fish in each one of these tanks. Our goal is to raise a trout that's about a ½ pound long or a ½ pound in weight, but will be 10 to 12 inches long. The brook trout does like the colder water. Brook trout also likes the water that is probably more cleaner water, like your mountain streams and so forth. Your brown can adapt to the warmer conditions, and your rainbow can pretty much adapt to anything that's there. Our pre-season starts on March the 1st. That's on a Saturday. It'll be every day, probably at least 3 loads of fish a day, maybe up to as high as 5. On a normal trip, a truck will carry 4,000 trout. And after that, we call it our in-season stocking, which is primarily the day after opening day until the end of May. Everybody tries to end by Memorial Day, but sometimes there are special instructions to stock after Memorial Day, but we try to end, and one of the reasons is the temperature of the stream starts going up after Memorial Day. I don't recall of the 30 years that I've been here where a stream actually didn't get stocked for opening day of trout season.
Hey, I want to thank Terry Farner for that tour at the Huntsdale Fish Commission, cultural station that is. And you know, Jake, after that hatchery closed down last year, we lost some of our fish. I mean, that is, they weren't stocking as many, but now they tell me that they're up about 200,000 over last year, which puts us up around a little over 4 million.
Wow.
We're down some, but we're coming back.
And you'll take credit for what, 2 or 3 of those?
I would like to. I'd like to catch a few of those on the first day. I know that. There's millions. That ought to be enough for me to get a couple.
The percentages are good.
Oh yeah, great. Great tour. We enjoyed that.
The Fish and Boat Commission will be on hand for our expo, and
yes.
They'll be answering questions. We'll have a trout pond at our expo,
and we're going to have all the expos aren't over. The biggest one is yet to come, and that's our expo.
That's ours.
Oh yeah.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to take you to visit the Harrisburg show and see some of the neat things we found. We'll have even more POL Classics on WNEP Plus right after this.
Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Jake, right before the break, we were talking about our big expo that's coming up at the Lycoming Mall.
Yep.
And for people who are still wondering, when is that? That's the first weekend in April, April 3, 4, 5, and 6.
And we've been working real hard on planning that one. I can't imagine what it's like to plan the one that they call the biggest one, this side of the Mississippi. And of course, that's the one that takes place every February at the Harrisburg Farm Show Complex. We walked around to try to find some new and interesting products. The Eastern Sports and Outdoors Show certainly called in the people. In fact, nearly 1 million people flocked to the show. We made our way through the crowd past the hundreds of mounted deer heads, through the gauntlet of turkey call companies, and we climbed our way past the tree stands. The Lemo Ward Decoy Company certainly popped up and caught our attention.
When you want to hunt, you pull it out, you hit the button, full body.
Unbelievable. That is a neat idea. You also brought up something about a tree stand finder or something. What's that like?
Yeah, this is pretty neat. This is pretty neat. If you ever put your tree stand out the night before in a new area and want to find it the next morning at 4 a.m., the woods are dark, it all looks different. The night before you hang this on your tree stand, you set this for 5 a.m. It's an alarm clock that sets off a mag-type light bulb. At 5 a.m., that mag light goes off. You get within a few hundred yards, you can see it go right to your spot. You're not tramping up the woods, you're not scaring all the game away, and you're not sweating for 45 minutes looking for your stand.
Who sits around thinking of these things? That's a great idea.
You know what? These are the kind of things that we've actually made and used because we couldn't find them. And then a few years ago, some of our buddies says, well, why don't you offer these? Why don't you make them? Why don't you, you know, because we've all had them. We all have crude models of these things we've used for years.
For years, sportsmen have been in search of the biggest racks to hang on their walls. The Rackulator company says they made it easy to measure them for scoring purposes. It's all electronic.
When you turn it on, you always hit new and it sets it up for the inside spread. The inside spread, we have a tape in here we pull out. You go in here, you find your widest point, lock the button.
Okay.
As you push the tape in, the wheel measures the tape, and it's internally programmed when you get this all done, and hit the step button to advance it to the next measurement.
Oh, wow.
It's going to add 1 3/8 for this distance right here that we held in. It's going to add it on to that measurement. So we'll hit the step button. It added that in, and it goes to right circumference 1. It always tells you which measurement to take next. For the beams and the tine, we use this little pointer.
Okay.
Wherever you point that and start rolling is where it's going to start counting.
Okay.
So you point that out at the end of your beam. And you roll the length of that beam off. You get the length of the beam, press that step button, and it goes to right tine 1. As soon as you get all done, you hit the score button.
I'll be darned.
There's gross non-typical, net non-typical, Buckmaster's trophy records. Any one of these scores I'm showing you, you can sub through. It shows you Buckmaster's is not using inside spread. There's a total of the right antler, total of the left. There's STI typical, STI non-typical, gross typical, net typical.
I get the point. It's not your typical way of measuring a rack. Pretty ingenious. Our quest for new and interesting products lead us to the brand new building now housing the fishing exhibitors, including the hog trough.
It's called a wacky worm.
I can certainly get hooked here. The Wiggler Worm Tool Company hopes you get hooked on their new products as well as fish. And just how do you use the Wiggler Worm Tool?
Go ahead and give us a demonstration. So wherever you start, that's where the hook is coming out. So if you want one right in the tail, just pop that needle in right where you want your hook, and you just pull the worm right on top of the needle. You can take any size hook, it does not matter what size. You put that right on the end of your needle. You keep your line taut because you hold the hook on the end.
Okay.
Push the worm up and over, pop it over the eye, and right on your fishing line.
Honest to goodness.
So it gives you a natural, realistic presentation in the water instead of being all balled up and hooked over.
And you can do that to have it come right out of the tail or in the middle or any place?
Right, wherever you start, that's where that hook's coming out. So if you got short biting fish, you'll catch the short biting fish. I don't know if you ever cast off a worm, but you cannot cast this worm off, so it saves money on bait.
We always manage to find some fun things like the Rackulator and the Worm Wiggler. And what do you think of those little
Well, that
gadgets?
Rackulator really impressed me. You know, I missed that. I was there for the whole show, and I missed that little device. But I think that's going to be a great little tool. So.
I do too.
Well, hey, we're going to be right back after this commercial break. Don't go away.
POL Classic, we'll have much more of it on WNEP Plus right after this. Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Over the next several weeks, you are going to hear us talking about Expo. Trout ponds, antler measuring, wildlife deer management rooms, grand prizes, lots of stuff, and of course field staff.
Yes, and speaking of field staff, one of our field staff members, Susan Gallagher, has a good tip every sportsman ought to know something about, and that's poison ivy.
Hi, I'm here with today's tip of the week, and I've brought you out back to one of the trees here at Carbon County Environmental Education Center. The tree itself is not what I wanted to talk about, though. What I wanted to talk about was the vine that's growing on the tree. One of the most common questions we get here at the center in the wintertime about people enjoying themselves safely outdoors is whether or not it's okay, whether or not it's safe to touch poison ivy when the leaves are gone. It's not. The vine, the little root hairs that you see attached to it on this tree, still contain the oil that can cause a rash on people's skin. So we tell people to avoid this kind of stuff even in the wintertime. Get to know it in the summertime, get to know what the leaves look like, what the foliage looks like, and then be sure to avoid it in the wintertime. This is especially important now with a lot of the bad weather that we've had. We've had a lot of tree branches come down, and if you look behind me, you can see that one of the branches of this tree has fallen. We're going to be really careful removing that branch, wearing gloves, washing our clothes right after, because if that oil gets on your skin, of course it can cause the rash, and if it gets on your clothes, that can transfer to your skin as well. Now, some people say they don't get poison ivy, and it's not something that they have to worry about, but the thing about our human bodies is that they change from time to time, from year to year. You may be perfectly safe touching and handling poison ivy one time, and the next time you touch it, you may get the reaction. So the best thing to do is to avoid it. Teach your kids to avoid it, keep your pets away from it, and stay safe when you're out there enjoying the outdoors in Pennsylvania. Susan Gallagher, Carbon County Environmental Education Center with this week's Tip of the Week.
Susan, thank you. That was a great tip, one we all ought to be paying attention to. You know, Susan's going to be at our expo along with her staff, and Susan's the bird woman.
That's right.
She's going to have hawks and owls
And
there.
eagles, maybe an eagle.
Eagles, that'd be great.
Eagle, yep.
We're going to have the Fish Commission, Fish and Boat Commission, the Game Commission, probably what? Is the Conservancy going to be there, Jake? Several of those organizations.
Working on getting all of those nonprofit
Fishing lure
organizations involved.
people. There's even going to be an artist there. I think I know one or two of them. So.
Your wife's going to pack in the stuff. You're going to be sitting with me signing autographs.
Yes, but my wife will do that. But there's going to be so many things there that people can look at. It's like a miniature Harrisburg thing, only a good crowd, I'm sure.
Yes, it is. And we always manage to get a hold of some of the local businesses to give away the grand prizes. One of the grand prizes is a pop-up. They're calling it a collapsible trailer. Anyhow, it's coming from Susquehanna RV over there in Selinsgrove. Larry DeGreen is here to tell us all about it.
Susquehanna RV's a company that has a track record and a slogan of "We are the camper's best friend," and we don't just say that, we mean that. We have second-to-none service and parts department. Our store is second to none. The people that work here, they're here for you. They're your friend. When you're here to look for a camper, you're not under any high pressure, not any hard sell. We're here to become your friend, to help you through this experience, whether you're the first-time buyer or you're the most experienced RVer.
You've decided to get involved with Pennsylvania Outdoor Life and give away one of our grand prizes. What are we giving away?
We are giving away a pop-up, a StarCraft pop-up, as we call them around here. They're technically called a fold-away.
What other things, niceties does it bring along with it, rather than sleeping in a tent?
Well, you're off the ground.
Okay.
that seems to be the big. I want to get off the ground. We've been camping in a tent since I've been a kid. They're the stories we hear. You get a stove. You get running water. You get capabilities of. You could be camping where you have a campground with electricity, water, sewer to dump, all that kind of stuff. Or you could just be going out fishing and pulling up along the creek where all you got to do is walk out your door in the morning and you're catching trout the first day. But with this, you could camp in any atmosphere.
Any family getting started in the camping line would be pretty happy to win something like that.
Absolutely. I know I would.
Now, Ken, this is your first time at our expo as a host of the show. Guess what? You can't enter.
I know. Me or my family can't enter anything. You know what I have to? I'm going down there to buy one of those things. I was already down to that place looking at a couple.
Susquehanna
so
RV, Wayne Browse and Larry
Those
DeGreen.
things fascinate me. Every time I go to a show, I walk through them.
It's
Fascinating.
amazing. He's going to have an RV park there and a major exhibitor. One of our other grand prizes for this expo comes to us from a dear friend, Chad Hall from Hall's Marine. Take a look at this boat. It's an incredible fishing machine. It is, in fact, a Lowe's Sea Nymph V-Series fishing boat. It's the Angler model, 14 foot on the trailer with 2 seats, 25 horse Mercury. We're going to put an electric trolling motor on there, a depth finder. You're looking at live wells right now, and that raised casting deck on the front is always a cool thing to have. Of course, Chad says that he will have a fleet of boats there other than our grand prize, so he's a major player too, and another one that I can't enter to win.
Yeah, I can't either, but I'll tell you what, that's a great looking boat. That would be a fine boat in this part of the state on the river and some of the small lakes around here. Excellent boat.
Absolutely. One of the keys here to this whole Expo Grand Prize is it's free admission to the Expo, free parking, and free grand prize entry, so you don't even need to buy a ticket to get in here to enter to win some of those. So we'll be telling people a lot
What
more.
an opportunity. Chance to win some great prizes, Jake.
We'll
Even
be
though we
telling them
can't,
more.
somebody else can.
Yep. Now, when is that expo? Mark your calendar now. It's April 3rd through the 6th. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more of Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. We're ready to give away a Wiggler a worm tool. What is that, Ken?
Nice little device. This is for rigging a worm on one of these types of hooks with the little spinner blades on there. And all the instructions are on the back to rig it so that the hook is actually further down the worm, so there's a better chance of hooking that fish. From Wiggler. Nice little device here.
I would use one of those if I had one in my tackle box.
You bet.
And just a reminder, you can continue to send postcards in here to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, and we'll give you that address in a second. Pick a winner. Make it an easy name, Ken.
Yeah, I always hope for an easy name. Oh, boy, it didn't work.
No,
Here we've got Holly Illigash from Greentown, Pennsylvania.
Congratulations, Holly. A couple of notes here. Anything that you saw today from the Harrisburg show, like the Wiggler worm tool, on our internet site right now, along with a WNEP Pennsylvania Outdoor Life Expo click point. Mark Sowers is nice enough to build everything from grand prizes.
Mark does
and
a
stuff
great
like
job,
that.
doesn't he?
Are you excited about this expo?
Yes, I am. Looking forward to it. I wish we could do it all the time.
And again, this will be your first time sitting there on the other side of that fence inside the cabin, and we'll have a host of personalities. Absolutely will be.
Lots of our field staff coming in,
Yeah.
all kinds of exhibits. I'm looking forward to it, Jake.
Me too, and we'll continue to update the website and you here on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Ken, have a good week.
Yes, everybody out there, have a great weekend.
Okay, for all of us here from Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, good night.
Pennsylvania Outdoor Life is a local presentation of WNEP TV. We're proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania.
Brown trout.
Thank you for joining us for a look back at POL Classics. Now I'm going to invite you to join us every Sunday night at 6:30 on WNEP+.